The old wooden door creaked as it slowly opened, letting in a thin strip of golden evening light. Dust danced in the air, glowing like tiny sparks as it floated through the abandoned classroom. The clock on the wall had stopped long ago, frozen at 4:17, and the silence felt so thick it almost had a sound of its own. A single desk stood in the middle of the room, and on it lay a small, leather-bound book that looked far too new to belong in a place forgotten by time. Ion stepped inside carefully, holding his breath like the air itself might shatter if he moved too fast. His sneakers made soft, nervous squeaks on the wooden floor. He hadn't planned to come here. In fact, he had promised himself he wouldn't. But curiosity had a way of pulling him forward, like invisible hands gently guiding his steps whether he wanted to follow or not. He walked closer to the desk, every step feeling louder than the last. The book was dark blue, trimmed with faint silver patterns that shimmered when the light touched them. There were no words on the cover, no title, no name. Just a tiny symbol in the center, a circle with 3 small stars inside. Ion reached out, hesitated, then slowly touched the book with the tips of his fingers. It felt strangely warm, like it had been left in sunlight even though the room was cold. As soon as he opened it, the pages began to flip on their own. The sound was gentle, like soft wings fluttering. Ion felt his heart race, but he couldn't look away. Lines of handwritten text appeared across the blank pages, glowing faintly in silver ink. "You came because you heard the call," the words seemed to say, even though they made no sound. "You came because you are not like the others." Ion swallowed hard. "I didn't hear any call," he whispered, though he wasn't sure who he was talking to. The room grew colder, and the light from the doorway flickered as if a cloud had passed over the sun. The next page turned, slowly, dramatically, as if it wanted him to watch. "This room remembers what the world has forgotten," the new words read. "And so do you." The walls around him changed without a sound. The cracked paint smoothed itself. The broken windows became whole again. Desks that had once been covered in dust now looked polished and new. For a moment, it felt like the past had rushed back to life in a silent wave. Ion's mind filled with flashes of children laughing, the chalk scratching against the blackboard, the smell of books and ink in warm afternoon air. He gasped, stepping back, but the door behind him was no longer there. Only a blank wall stood where his escape had been. Panic crawled up his chest, but the book remained calm in his hands, the pages slowly turning. "Do not be afraid," the glowing words changed again. "You are not trapped. You have been chosen to see." Ion's hands trembled, but he kept reading. He didn't know why he trusted the book, only that he felt a strange pull toward it, like it already knew everything about him. The air hummed softly, as though the room itself was breathing. Images began to rise from the pages, not pictures but feelings. He felt wind on his face, water around his feet, the warmth of sunlight on a stone path. He saw himself standing somewhere far away, in a place he had never visited, yet somehow recognized. Tall towers made of glass. Trees that glowed faintly in the dark. A sky filled with floating lights instead of stars. His heart slowed, and the fear turned into wonder. "Is this real?" he murmured. The letters shifted and replied, "It will be, the moment you are ready to remember." Then, suddenly, everything stopped. The pages went blank. The glow faded. The room flickered once more, returning to its broken, silent state. The door reappeared behind him, slightly open, letting the normal sounds of the outside world drift in, distant traffic, faint voices, the ordinary hum of life. For a long second, Ion just stood there, the closed book resting in his hands. It felt colder now, like an ordinary object again. Part of him wondered if he had imagined everything. If it was just a trick of light and dust and an overactive mind. But when he looked down at the cover, he noticed something new. The symbol in the center was no longer 3 stars. Now, there were 4. And deep inside, a quiet feeling told him this was only the beginning.